Some coaches and players make defending look like that impossible task that requires a huge frame and tall physique in order to keep up with the demands of those positions, when in reality, all you need is a structured defensive mindset that has pre-built solutions that are applicable to probably 80 to 90% of the defensive scenarios you will ever come across as a defensive unit. And trust me, if you really, and I mean really, nail down these 3 defensive automations I'm going to share with you in a bit, you will become a really good defender. And now you might be wondering why I call these automations, and that is because the core defensive scenarios don't really change that much. You will have a handful of scenarios to defend against, and the vast majority of them can be beat by applying one of those 3 defensive tactics. If you properly ingrain these into your game, you'll start taking action on them instinctively without even having to think about them. It is going to be so natural to you that you will get into a defensive scenario and your brain will take action on autopilot just by recognizing the play. So make sure you watch all the way through this video to also learn what tactic to use in each specific scenario. First off, we have banana-shaped defending. Now you might be wondering, what does a banana have to do with defending? In reality, this is a super simple concept to understand, yet so many of you don't use it. So I want you to think of zonal defending as a safety valve. The more safety valves your defensive structure has, the safer and more bulletproof you are against conceding goals, and banana-shaped defending does exactly that. Imagine the ball is being played down the line and outside of the box. By stacking defenders in a banana shape, you achieve 3 things. Number 1, the fullback can apply tight pressure to the player in possession of the ball without the fear of having open space behind them, because you're creating another defensive block with a player that is right behind them. Number 2, the defender that is covering the fullback's back isn't only there as a second defensive block in case the fullback fails to defend, but also as a deep defensive solution to defend any through balls that might be played. And finally, number 3, the other 2 players are tucked inside to keep the structure more compact and eliminate any plays or runs inside the red zone. They also have adequate time to defend a possible long ball that might be played to switch the point of attack. As you can see, the banana-shaped defending is a more compact, safe, and resilient defensive block that can be applied in loads of scenarios as long as you and your teammates don't mess up the structure, like for example, having one center back parallel or way in front of the fullback that is defending, or the other 2 players being totally mispositioned and vulnerable to a long or a through ball. Now, as you've already noticed, this tactic is most suitable when defending down the line, and it is usually the center back's responsibility to coordinate the whole structure and give directions in regards to positioning. Now, the second defensive automation I wanted to share with you is the triangle-shaped defending. This is an automation that is so easy to execute and understand, yet so many players fail to apply it in the specific scenarios that we are going to go over now. It is straight logic. The top player of the triangle is applying tight pressure or is going up for the header, and the other 2 players are providing deep cover and support in case of a deflection, a through ball, a passing combination, or in case the top player fails to gain possession of the ball. You're essentially operating with a safety valve logic once again, building layers of protection to bulletproof your goalkeeper first and then the goal, of course. Now, this automation is also really versatile and can be used mainly in the central space of the field when there is an aerial duel happening or you're applying pressure on a player that is directly driving in with the ball. Either way, you got your back covered through the structure. Now, the third one is a bit more broad and general, but can be used literally everywhere because it is directly linked to one of the core defensive principles: slow down and delay the attack. If your coach or teammate is telling you to dive in and press when a team is counter-attacking you with no man behind you and you're way ahead of the box, just tell them to shut up and mind their own business, but for obvious reasons, do not do this in game. Instead of diving in, getting beat with a simple touch, and making a fool of yourself, contain the attacker and delay their actions and momentum by tracking back with them and leading them as much outside of the box as you can. In order to do exactly that, lower down your center of mass, face the opponent sideways, directing them towards either of the sidelines, and do not dive in. The only exception to this is if you're just outside or inside the box. If you're within that red zone, remain as balanced as you can, but go in for the battle and suffocate your opponent with your physical presence. Another strategy you can use to delay and slow down your opponent's actions, as well as their movement and options, is by pressing them in a curved motion. This is a body shape you see pros using all the time that will give your opponent only one direction or option to commit to, and you will have a much better idea of what you need to do in order to get that ball back to your team's feet. This is especially useful during high pressing moments, but that curved pressing action is superb to shadow defend and eliminate options on your back no matter where you are located on the field. Now, if you need further help with any of these, or you're a pro or semi-pro looking to upgrade your weekly game day performance through performance and opposition analysis, make sure to shoot us an EM on Instagram or send us an email, and we will be right there to help you scale your career past your current performance standards. Also, if you found this video useful, I'm sure you also want to watch this one here next.